sharing with real estate agents how to grill loan officers. This
Setting expectations, there's maybe...
And we all know rate is important, right? Because that is a part of the calculation, but is that the only thing? So, hey everybody, Sean here, Renown Mortgage. How are you doing? Welcome to the Renown Mortgage Podcast. As always, I am joined by our Commander-in-Chief, Justice Roberts. But today, we've got someone new. So, Justice, I'm going to let you introduce our newest member of the Renown Mortgage team.
Absolutely. Well, glad to be here with you today, Sean. And yes, very excited to announce Danny Rodriguez, new loan officer that we're adding to our team, my team specifically, and super thrilled his experience in the mortgage industry in the past and kind of like things coming around. We can hear a little bit of his story today, but super thrilled. Big warm welcome for Danny, adding him to our team, and super excited for the future together.
Danny, my friend, how are you doing? First of all, before we do anything, we've got to do we got this thing that we've been doing recently. It's the weather check. It's beautiful outside. It was a beautiful 4th of July. So Danny, how was your 4th of July? Was it good?
My 4th of July was awesome. I spent the whole weekend over on the Columbia River with my family and friends, and we got to surf and enjoy the sunshine and just enjoy a bunch of people.
Okay, so you were in mortgages. You started out in mortgages and then stepped away and then stepped back into mortgages. So talk to me a little bit about what got you into mortgages and what brought you back.
What got me into mortgages was just the desire to help people and serve people with their home finance situations. And what brought me back was just the desire to start helping people again and start helping people create financial wealth. And there's no other better way than doing it with buying a first home or anything that has to do with their current mortgage, whether it's a refinance or some type of, home improvement or, debt consolidation.
Yeah. The whole 9 yards, the whole shooting match. You're there. You're in for it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're excited that you're here. We're excited that you're going to be joining us on the podcast sometime. So, guys, we're gonna talk a little bit about what's going on in the market right now, because it's it's an interesting market right now. It feels like this last year we've been driven by the news cycle. I think everyone's kind of gotten a consistent understanding that the news cycle doesn't drive as much as we think it does anymore. There's a promise of this raising, there's a promise of this lowering, there's a promise of this meeting, and if I'm going to say it my way, I think happily a lot of that has turned out to be a lot of nothing burgers. It's like everything we thought might happen doesn't happen. Everything we perceive could happen. Everything's just kind of we're seeing a little bit of what I would call a stabilization. We're not seeing the arc of values right now. We're actually seeing what I would call a normal market. Justice, you think you would agree with me that this kind of just post-COVID-19, crazy up, down, low rate, high rate, we're waiting rates to go back to 4s. Instead, we're maybe starting to have a normal conversation about the housing market. Would you kind of agree with that?
I think that I would. I think that there has definitely been a stabilization. I think that, over the years that I've been in the industry, I've certainly seen where it feels like is that there's a lot of peaks and valleys. There's, things where things are, everything's booming, everything's crazy, and, there's a housing shortage and everything else. And then there's times where it's like, hey, there's all this inventory. And I feel like maybe we're finding a little bit of a happy medium. Now we're in the middle of the summer months, so like a little bit hard to say like how long this lasts, but, you also have other things that may play out in the market, over the course of the next 3 to 6 months, that may, whether that means that we have a booming winter, or maybe it's a more moderate, more stabilized winter as we get into things. But I'd say that I think it's an accurate representation, and doing the best that we can every day, every week, every month, to kind of just look at things with a fresh perspective and go, hey, without being emotionally attached to what's actually happening in the market, how are we perceiving things, and obviously bringing that best, to our listeners.
Hey everybody, hope you are enjoying the podcast. Listen, real quick, if refinancing, purchasing, or investing is in your future, or you think it's like not even within your ballpark to do it, we would absolutely love to have a conversation with you here at Renown Mortgage. We care about what matters to you. This is possibly the largest investment that a family can ever make, and we want to be here for you. Comment below or don't hesitate to reach out. Now let's get back to that podcast. I would say for me, a little bit cautious to see people who are like, man, we really need to wait, those 5% interest rates, it's going to be a thing. And I'm just like, listen, really right now with market prices starting to stabilize, the options of rate buy downs, seller concessions, closing costs getting paid, those are now a part of the equation again. So you may not get the rate lowering that you were hoping for from a Fed meeting, but you are getting some opportunities now in the stabilization of a market that could be similar. So I know, Danny, recently you were talking to somebody about a HELOC, which HELOCs were not a part of the conversation. They're not a huge part of our conversation as of late. Now, all of a sudden, it's like people are going, hey, I got space. I got room. Why not? Danny, when you're coaching a client right now, you're talking to families about, the decisions that they're making when it comes to HELOCs and refinances. Like, what are those conversations like right now? What are they going like?
I think, from the conversations that I've had, people are just unsure, so I just coach them in, taking a step of action. Like, let's talk about it for a minute. Let's fill out a loan application and let's just discover what options are out there that are going to best fit your family's financial current position.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I love the word you use, it's options. I was
Mhm.
talking to if you saw the podcast last week,
Yeah.
we were talking to Mike DeMeo, and he had a VA loan that it died on one desk at one company, died on another desk, another company. And we're really, we are very careful to be honoring of our fellow LOs in this business. It's not, someone's doing something wrong. It's just maybe they didn't, give it another look. And one of the things I love about justice is, giving something just a little bit of a turn to see if something actually has some life in it. And one of the things that Mike discovered in this process was there was actually something that both the other companies missed, and he was able to get a veteran who's really been wanting to get into this home with a Chapter 13 foreclosure. They were actually able to work the loan out so that they were able to get this thing done. And I think that's one of the things is we at Renown, we have this belief system that, listen, if there is an option, if there is a way, we're going to make it work. So Justice, talk to me a little bit about I talked to Mike a little bit about this. What is your process when you're looking at something, especially that might be a tough deal? What's your process to saying, okay, it's not dead, it's just sleeping?
I'd say the philosophy starts with just the desire to really help and serve people and
Yeah.
really, obviously understanding, like Mike's scenario last week that you talked about. I think that it's very clear that there's a desire behind them wanting to purchase a home. What's the meaning behind that? And ultimately, having the belief that it's not, can it, come together? It's how. And,
Yeah, totally.
if we start from that framing, then we can start to actually open our mind up to potential possibilities and
Yeah.
look at things with a new and fresh perspective, looking at every part of income, looking at every part of assets or credit, what needs to happen in order to, structure the loan in a way. Does that mean that we're adding a cosigner? Does that mean we're paying off debt? Does that mean that we're needing a little bit more time on the job to show a little bit more income? What are all the different variables that, play in to getting a loan that we actually can influence? Sometimes I would say very infrequently is there a desire, but there's not a path forward some way,
Yeah.
somehow. So
Yeah.
my message to home buyers would absolutely be like, if you have the desire to purchase, if you want to own a home or you want to access equity that's in your house, you want to put your family into a better financial situation, there are variables that, we have to work with the market, but there's so much that you can control. And
Yeah.
having, a, someone come on the same side of the desk as you, not like looking to
Yeah.
do anything more than to serve and
Yeah.
provide options and provide feedback and provide clarity so you can make informed decisions and actually, move your life forward, move your financial future in a positive direction.
That was perfect. I absolutely. All right, we're going to end it right there. That was absolutely awesome. Justice, thank you. Danny, thank you. Welcome to the team. We're super excited. We're super excited
Thank
you're
you.
here, and we're going to have you in the podcast in the future. So
Awesome.
listen, all the good things, people, like, share, subscribe if you found any of this valuable. And if you are thinking about just even considering a home purchase or a refinance, please do not hesitate to reach out. We here at the Renown Mortgage team, we are here to partner with you. As Justice said so well, come on the same side of the desk and partner with you in this journey. So until next week, I'm Sean. We'll see you then.